Okay, I wanted to take a minute and introduce the Eclipse IDE. Now, for this course, you only need JGrasp. It's a highly used IDE for colleges and universities across the country. And one of the reasons is it's easy to install, it's easy to navigate and set up, particularly for beginning programmers. Eclipse, however, I wanted to introduce it. You don't need to use it, but if you're interested in it, this is a really powerful Java development IDE that you can download and install it for free, and you've got access to a lot of different tools, and one of them I wanted to point out is this JavaFX that we'll talk about later on. So notice I've got a couple of files here. I've got my installation file I'm pointing at here with my mouse that I downloaded from the internet. I've got it running and installed, and I've got my shortcut on my desktop. Next to that, I've got my source folder. I've created that folder so I can store all my projects in one default location that's easy for me to access. It's convenient. It's right there on my desktop. So I like to put that there. You can put it in other locations if you want, but I like it on the desktop so everything's in one nice, neat location. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Eclipse. I've got multiple monitors here, so I've got to slide this over. And notice I've set this up by default, so it goes to my desktop and it goes to that Java Eclipse folder, and that's my workspace, so I can store all my different files and programs and things in there. I've got this open on another monitor, so it's got to slide over here. Okay, so once I've done that, I've got a couple of options that I can choose from. This Create Hello World application kind of steps you through. You can review your configuration settings, and you can open existing file if you've previously created one, and so on and so forth. And there's also some samples and tutorials and things over here on the right as well. But in this case, I'm going to create a new Java project, and I need to name that project. So I'm going to call it example 1. And that's going to be the name of my project. It's going to be in a folder called example 1 within my Java Eclipse folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on next. Now it's going to create my SRC folder, which is short for source. That's going to create my source files within my example 1 project. So I'm going to go ahead and click on finish there. And once I get into the IDE, I'm pretty much ready to go. It looks similar to JGrasp. It works similarly to JGrasp, but there's a couple of things that tend to trip people up. And one of those that's different from JGrasp is I need to create a new class. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to New, and I've already created a Java project. So I need to create a new class under that example 1 folder. So notice it had already clicked on it, so it's selected there, and I need to name that class. Remember, from the programs you've been working on, that class is going to appear where you need to write your code. That'll make sense in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Finish, and it's going to create my class. Notice public class welcome. So over here on the left, notice that I've got a couple of other projects I've been working on, and I can remove those. I can just right click on it, say I want to remove test, and I can delete that. I'm not going to because I want to keep that open. But if I click on this little arrow here on the side, notice I've got my JRE system library, and I've got my source folder here as well. Under rectangle test, same kind of thing. I've got some files in here, so I can click on that, get my default package, and so on and so on and so on. If I want to, I can close those up, keep them sort of out of the way, but they're right there handy if I need them. So I'm ready to start writing my code just as you would in JGrasp. I'm going to leave this top part the same, and just to make life easier for me, I'm going to go ahead and click and just paste that in there. So I pasted, I've got my comment up here with my 2 forward slashes. I've got my public static void, and I've got the main body of my program here, which is just simply system out print line, welcome to Java programming, and then my name, and a couple of other comments there as well. So from here, I can go ahead and run it similar to JGrasp. I can just click on the little run button up here at the top. I can debug. There's a lot of other tools that you can use, and you can familiarize yourself with that. For this, I just wanted to get you up and running with Eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and run this. It's going to select the resources to save. It needs to save that. And then down here at the bottom, where I'm circling with my mouse, you can see the output of the program running. So this is a nice, very nice IDE, a little bit higher level, but it's also a little bit easier than some other IDEs for adding additional libraries, particularly with FX, which is a chapter later on in the book for those of you who might be interested in touching base with working with GUIs and so forth. So hopefully this will get you up and started with Eclipse. If you're interested, again, you don't need Eclipse for this class. JGrasp is all you need to do the assignments, but this will give you something a little bit more to think about if you're interested in doing that.